Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissick and Dana Gentry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKissick.
And I'm Dana Gentry.
Hey, Dana, we got some craziness going on in the world, but I'm super excited about what we got going on the podcast today. So, hey, anything new with you?
Yeah, no, just trying to now is, we definitely have some uncharted territories going on in the world right now with the coronavirus. And so today I've been working on just keeping everybody calm and putting action plans in place and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Well, why don't you introduce our guest, if you will?
Yeah, super excited about our guest today. So I had the privilege of meeting Nikki Klein and being able to be on a panel with her at the convention in Dallas, and she shared some amazing stuff. And I've had so many agents reach out actually and say, how can we get more information from her? So we thought this would be a great time to bring her on. So welcome, Nikki.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So do you want to kind of kick us off and just tell us a little bit about yourself and your business first, and then we'll jump into the great, awesome thing that you do that I think everybody wants to hear about.
Sure. Well, I live in Boca Raton, Florida. I moved here about 7 years ago. I'm obviously originally from London, England, hence the accent. It's not fake. I'm actually from England. So I moved to Florida, and I'm the founder of the Brilliant team at Keller Williams in Boca Raton. And in our best year, we did about 39 million. My team it's been successful and imploded many times. I'm now at the point where I am rebuilding my foundation. So it's my transaction coordinator and my director of operations and me. And we have our little team. So it's awesome.
Awesome. Cool. So, okay, when we were in Dallas, you shared a ton about your Facebook group communities. And I think Linda and I have been talking about this, and now more than ever, we feel like this is such an important time in our industry to be able to kind of talk about social groups and doing things virtually. And you just have had massive success with this. So maybe just kick us off by talking a little bit about how you even started that idea, where that came from, and then a little bit about the groups.
I moved to actually New Haven, Connecticut, and I didn't know anybody. I just moved there. And so I thought, well, what's the best way to meet people when you don't actually know anybody? And I decided to start a Facebook group, and it was a community group. And I realized that it was a super powerful thing when I needed to have speed bumps put outside my house, and the community rallied together.
Wow.
And then I got my real estate license shortly thereafter. And, my business grew exponentially through my Facebook group.
That is awesome. So Nikki, tell us a little bit about how you run your Facebook group.
So it's pretty intensive. It's definitely my one thing. I definitely have a structure, and I have rules and a thick skin, because people can be unhappy with the way that it's run, but I have very strict rules. So if you adhere to the guidelines, it will grow pretty quickly. And it'll grow. It adds a lot of value to people's lives, because we really don't allow any spam in there. We don't allow sales. We're very strategic about how we run our Facebook group, and we just add a lot of value.
Okay. So what do you think are, like, if someone was saying, how would I add value in a group like that? What are some of the biggest things that you guys do to add value?
So I didn't actually advertise that I was in real estate for about 3 years in my group. It was only a recent thing, because I felt a little bit hypocritical telling people that they can't, put their sales and business in the group unless somebody asked for it. So I didn't advertise that at all.
They just thought of you as you were just somebody in the community that owned.
I was somebody in the community, and I also was the admin of the group, so I'm always top of mind. If I make a post, everybody in the group gets it. So I would make sure that my personal profile was filled with real estate, so that people knew that I was in real estate. Because one of the first things that people do is look at the admin's profile. Who is this person? So that was kind of where my thought process went. Okay, so make all of my real estate posts public, So it's the first thing that people see when they come into the group and they're checking me out. Who is this person?
Okay, got it. That makes sense. Okay, so you didn't really ever talk about real estate in there.
No, but I did ask questions when people wanted to, and I still do. When people want to enter the group, I ask them if they have any real estate needs.
Oh, okay. So that's one. Okay, so that was actually one of the questions that I wrote down. And I know Linda and I talked about this because we've had people ask us this a ton. Do you allow realtors into the group?
I don't allow them in if I know that they're realtors.
Okay.
But some realtors are in there. They sneak in, and that's fine. It's the ones that really, it's, I consider it like my private database, right? Like people go after FSBOs and expireds, and I consider this my private database. Like it's my private list where I fish.
Okay, so I have a million questions I want to ask you about that. But before I do that, okay, so back up to providing value in the group. What are some things that you do to provide value to the group?
So we try to be the breaking news. So if anything's happening, so we have coronavirus happening right now in our area. And so one of the members posted that she heard through next door that one of her neighbors has the virus in the hospital. So we heard about the first case of coronavirus through my group.
Wow.
Right, after next door. So then it's kind of breaking news. It's if there's new construction being built in the area, any commercial space, any events that are happening. And the beauty about Facebook groups is that you can schedule posts. So if you see an event that's happening 6 months out, you can actually post that event 5 months out, schedule it. So I'll have things pop up that I even forgot that I had scheduled to post. But it's always adding items of value. And the other thing that's really important is that when you have members posting questions, that you always answer their question because they want to feel valuable. And if you don't answer their question, they're not going to feel validated, and they're not going to feel like they want to ask questions ever again.
Okay, so then do you answer all the questions, or do other members in the group answer questions?
So I've reached the point. So at the beginning, it would be me answering the questions, but my group is almost 14,000 people. So now it's other people answering questions for me. I don't really have to monitor that stuff anymore. But at the beginning, when I was trying to cultivate the group, I would have to, and if I didn't know the answer, I would go on Yelp and find the answer, because they have to have an answer to their questions.
What percentage, have you been able to track a percentage of business from this, or is it something where you're not really sure?
35% of my business comes from it.
75%?
35.
35. Okay. So, okay, great. So when are other realtors in this community, or just people that could do business with you?
A few realtors are in the group, but mostly we don't allow realtors in the group. And I was just telling Dana that we basically treat this like a private database. And our thought process is, listen, other realtors can create their own Facebook groups for their own private database. This just happens to be ours. Some people choose to fish in a public lake with FSBOs and expireds, and we choose to have our own private lake with our own member database. And we add so much value to it that it's kind of like a give and receive.
So do you ever post real estate stuff in there?
I didn't until like this year, basically.
When you originally started this group, I guess I'm trying to ask, how did you know that, what were you expecting from it? Like, what was your ideal outcome with the group?
I didn't have any expectations. I really just wanted to bring people together, because I really felt like when people move to a new area, it can be really lonely. And also, I feel like when you reach a certain age, it's not like you're in college anymore where you just automatically connect with people. It's much harder to meet people when you're older and you have kids. So I thought it would be a really great way for people to connect with other people.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that I didn't have any expectations. My hope was that there would be connection from it.
So obviously somehow they know you're in real estate. Do they reach out normally to do business with you through Facebook, or do they reach out separately to get a hold of you when they do want to? You said you don't put much about real estate on there.
That's a good question.
So, but it happens both ways. So I was telling Dana that I basically have entry questions into the group. So people have to we ask people, are you interested in moving to the area. So we get people understand. In our description, we say that we're in real estate. We just don't talk about it in the actual group. So when you enter the group, there are rules, and within those rules, we say, by the way, if you're looking to buy or sell real estate in the area, we're your local real estate experts.
What's been the biggest surprise to you since you started, and what have you changed about the way you originally did it to now?
So the biggest surprise I had was when I went into the group one day, and there were a bunch of members who were talking about this BRMC group, and I had no idea what it was. And eventually I figured out that they'd actually made an acronym for my group. And it's because my group's name is Boca Raton Moms Connect. So that was really shocking to me, that it had become such a tribe that we'd nurtured that they all know about it. And I get stopped on the street and people say to me that this group's changed their life. Like, I've had hairdressers tell me they made $30,000 more last year because of the referrals they got from the group.
That's
so
awesome.
It's a really powerful platform.
Wow.
It's helping people's businesses grow exponentially.
That's awesome. Yeah, you add value. That's fantastic. What are some of the topics that you have found to be the best topics or information that you gave people or helped people with that they really love when they're doing groups?
Yeah, so people love anything food related, restaurants. They love talking about schools because it's a mom's group. So people love, their schools are the best schools. So they love talking about that. And then anything new that's happening in the area is really, those are kind of the big topics. But I can tell you the topics to stay away from.
That'd be great.
So religion, politics, and vaccines, those are the things that you do not want in your group.
Yeah, you'll have way too much controversy around those.
So much controversy.
Is that the only group that you have, or do you have more now?
No, I have, I can't even count. So what ended up happening is because we had so many thousands of people in our group, we decided to have subgroups. So now I have actually a super successful group that we have is Boca Raton. All of my groups start with Boca Raton Moms Connect. So it's Boca Raton Moms Connect and babysitters. So what I did was I reached out to college students and made a group for Boca moms and babysitters, because that's one of the biggest challenges that people have when they move to an area is, where can I find a babysitter? And no one wants to give their babysitter's name out because then they'll feel like they'll lose that babysitter. Yes. So I created a platform where we're having Boca moms and babysitters connecting. And we can talk about this a little bit later, but we take these events offline. So we were going to have an Easter event where we have speed dating for Boca Raton moms and babysitters, but obviously that's not going to happen at this point in time. And then we have other groups like single moms events. We have a book club that's on its 20th book. We have just many different things. I ask the group, like, what are your passions? Who would you like to connect with? What kind of like-minded people are you looking to be in touch with? And so when they reach out, we ask them if they want to lead those groups, and they end up connecting with like-minded people. And that fills my heart. That's like, nothing better.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So how's been the best way? Because obviously when it gets that big, you can't answer everything. What's the process to find people who will also moderate the Facebook page for you?
Oh, it's just me and my admin that monitor it.
Wow.
So because we've made it so clear that we have these rules, okay, adults are really like children. They want to have rules to follow. I mean, it's just a fact. Like, people are nervous to give rules because they think people aren't going to like them. The high eyes are anyway. Clearly, I don't have much eye in me. So they're just afraid to give rules. And the reality is that people want rules to follow. So when you make rules and you're strict about it and you have standards, people adhere to them. And so I make it very clear, there's just 2 of us running this group. So please report anything that's inappropriate, anything that you feel shouldn't be part of this group. Very rarely we'll get reports because everyone knows that there's no spam in the group, there's no sales. So there's no reason to really have any disagreements.
Mm-hmm. So you approve every person that wants to join, right?
Yeah, every person and every post.
Okay. So I would like to go back and for you to touch on the events because, I know so many real estate agents are at a really high level working on upping their event game.
Yeah.
So you are basically taking the group and merging that into an event, like what we would call a client event.
Correct. So actually what I do is we have these community events. So the last event we had was about 600 or 700 people.
Wow.
And then we have, it's always sponsored by the brilliant team at Keller Williams.
So you are the one sponsoring. Okay, got it.
Always. Yep. And our tent is always at the front. And we run it as a Boca Raton Moms Connect event. And that way we can capture people's information for our database when they register. And it's kind of less intimidating to say it's a Boca Raton Moms database than it's a brilliant team database. So, and we have a different drip campaign for Boca Raton Moms Connect, where we'll give them items of value. We'll share events that are happening. We'll share stuff. If you want to be part of our database, we will share this information with you before it hits our Facebook page. And everybody wants to be the first to know.
So is that how you decide who goes into just the group, Facebook group, and who actually winds up in your database? What's the criteria for them to move and be maybe in both the Facebook group and your database, or at least get over the database?
They have to fill out Google. If anyone fills out a Google form that we put out, so sometimes we'll say, hey, this restaurant is going to give us, if you're a Boca Moms Connect, you're going to get 25% discount from this restaurant. So if you want to keep hearing about these deals that we get, fill out this form. So people fill out the form because they want the deals. So they automatically become part of our database.
So then what does that connection look like with that database? What is it, 28 times a year, 30 times a year? What is that when you're there in your database? What does that connecting look like?
So it's very similar to our client database. So we switch it up. And we'll just reach out and say, hey, are we doing a good job with Boca Raton Moms Connect? What else would you like to see in there? And oh, by the way, do you know that we are real estate agents? We would love to help you if you're ever looking to buy or sell, or do you know anyone who's looking to buy or sell?
So when they get to your database and do they have to have already talked to you about real estate for them to go into your brilliant team database?
No, yes, if they go into the brilliant team database from the Boca Moms database, then we've touched them. We've been in touch with them about real estate.
And so how many years you've been doing this, the Facebook group?
5 years.
5 years. So it's gone from 0% of your business to 35%. Do you notice as your group gets bigger, does that number get larger faster than it used to, or is it about the same progression of being part of your business?
It's about the same. It is getting bigger. This year, the last 6 months, I've noticed growth for sure. And it's also a lot of referral from Boca Moms. So now I'm reaching the point where Boca Moms are now referring other Boca Moms, or they're referring their friends and family.
Because they probably add their friends to the group.
Oh yeah, we encourage it all the time. Actually, I just made a post saying, here's how you can add people. If you think someone would gain value from the group, please add them in. Yeah.
So with everything we kind of have going on in our world right now, Linda and I felt like this would be a really timely, this is why literally I messaged you and said, hey, can you hop on today or tomorrow? Talk a little bit about how you see this growing even just in general with everything we have going on, and why that this is going to be more important than ever, especially for realtors right now, as a way to, one, give back and bring value to their community, and two, to kind of push through maybe what might become a shift and sustain their business.
So I think Facebook groups I've been saying Facebook groups are the future for the longest time, because I truly believe people want to feel part of something bigger than themselves. Nobody wants to feel alone. With what's going on now with the social distancing, that can lead to emotional isolation. And with emotional isolation, it's the same thing. People, they don't want to feel alone. So when they feel like they're part of a group and they're constantly getting information and updates on what's going on, they feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. And, whenever I make a post, I'm automatically in all of the members' news feeds. So if I'm in front of 14,000 people several times a day, when it comes to real estate, who are they going to think of?
Yep.
It's a no-brainer.
So what are you posting with this coronavirus? Because obviously we had someone call today and cancel our reservation for dinner tomorrow night. No one's sure what to do. Are you addressing that in your Facebook group, or how are you doing
absolutely.
on that issue?
I think it's really, humans by nature are addicted to fear. So it's really important for leaders to step up and ease people's minds and be the calm in the storm. And so, I'll have somebody posting, I live in New York and we're down here, stock up now. Everyone's freaking out. On my Facebook page in New York, people are freaking out and saying that they don't have, they needed some chicken or they needed diapers. And
toilet paper.
Right, toilet paper, exactly. So my response was, I really appreciate what you're saying. I just want you to think about the fact that, they are going to be replenishing things. In addition to that, let's really talk about what are needs and what is luxury. And so it's kind of being the voice of reason when people are spiraling out of control.
Yeah. This is not funny, but it is, because I'm a part of a Nashville new construction Facebook group that I love to follow, because I love all the homes in Nashville. I think are just some of the most beautiful homes in the country. And the admin of this group posted this afternoon, I took a screenshot of it so that I could share it with you guys. And they posted some really one of the most popular homes in Nashville that's been in the tour of homes a gajillion times, and everybody loves this house. They posted photos of this house and they said, okay, guys, let's have some real talk. It's super unsettling right now with things with the coronavirus changing by the hour. And for me, at least, all the uncertainty and lack of control I'm feeling makes me super anxious. But the one thing that still feels normal is coming here and seeing great inspo and connecting with all of you in this group.
Right.
And I thought, man, that's exactly that just, you're already doing that. And it's just such a great,
and I break up the stress, right? Because everyone's freaking out and there are news articles and they're watching the news. And so I break that up a little bit with some memes. I'll post some funny stuff. I just posted one that said, it was a guy who said, day 2 without sports. Found a lady sitting on my couch. Apparently she's my wife.
I saw that.
Nice. Yeah. So it's breaking up the stress with a little bit of humor, and it just kind of shakes people into the now, into the present, and takes them out of all the fear.
Yeah, I love that. Actually, Linda, we shared something on our Everything Life and Real Estate Instagram. That was the lady from Still Magnolias that was really funny. And she said there wasn't no coronavirus till y'all made them brooms stand up. You let the evil in. Everyone's doing the standing of the brooms stuff.
That's a good one. I'm going to have to find that and post it. So I steal a lot of people's posts, right? So I'm constantly looking there was a realtor who posted the New York schools are now shut down until April 20th. So I took that, and it was breaking news from New York. So I quickly took that and posted it in my group. So it looks like I'm the breaking news. I'm just taking it from somebody else. I'm always watching what's going on. And then I'm posting it in my group as breaking news, because most people don't have the connections that I do all over the country. So I can take that information really quickly, add it to my group, and bring value to other people.
So actually I had one question written down that I didn't get to ask you, which was, in all reality, how much time do you really spend on this group? If you were to say what percentage of your day, or how many hours, or whatever you want to give.
So it's actually not that much time, because let's say from 14,000 people, let's say I get 25, even 50 posts a day, it's super fast to click through and get rid of I can time block for it. Okay. And people as well. I can time block for it. So I'm on Facebook anyway, just because it's a big social platform that I like to see what's going on. It's where I get my news. I don't watch TV. It's what I go to for everything.
Yeah.
So, but as far as my group goes, I don't really need to monitor it anymore, because all the people in my group are so loyal, and they just feel so part of a tribe that if anybody steps out of line, they're going to get reported. So I would say maybe in my group, like an hour a day.
Wow. Okay.
Because and that's spread out over the day.
Right. So with the last bit of time that we have, I think this is a great idea. I think the timing is, like you said, way overdue. And this week, people are going to have lots of time at home to even think about doing something like this. If you were starting over again, let's give them the advice of what would be the things you would tell them to do if they wanted to start something like this in their local communities.
Yep. So the first thing to do is find something that you're passionate about, because you're not going to want to be vested in a Facebook group that you have no interest in. So whatever that is, find your like-minded people in your community and post items of value in there. If you love reading, start a local book club group and then post your favorite books in there. Whatever your passion is, that's what you need to follow, because that's what's gonna keep you motivated.
Did you invite a bunch of people, or did they? Sorry, I had a question about that, Linda. Did you just invite them from the beginning, or did you just invite a few and then they invited their friends, or how'd you do that when a startup? What advice would you give somebody?
Oh, starting. Okay, it's so funny because I just started a new group a few months ago called Journey to Mindful Growth, because I'm on a spiritual awakening journey. So I wanted to include other people who would be interested in that path. And we have like 2,800 people in it. And I just started a few months ago. And the way that I grew that group was really just putting the feelers out there and having people I asked people to invite their friends. So at first, what I would do is you got to find people who are influencers and people who like to be involved in things, and message them privately and say, hey, I'm starting a community group. I think it would be really awesome to add value to the community if you could invite all your friends. And then once your group gets a little bit bigger, you send a message out to the group and say, hey, do you see how much value we're all getting from this? Why don't we keep members to the group so that we can grow exponentially and add even more value, become a tribe, become a community, and grow together.
So how do you decide that it's time to add a new group? Is it just basically off your self-interest of what you're interested in and you want to see who else is interested? Or could some people just have one group and stay with the one group forever?
Yeah, you can do whatever you're in the mood for. I mean, I've had groups that have not been successful. I've had so many different groups. I actually one really good group that I have is called Palm Beach County Realtors Connect. So it's my county realtors. And so we a mastermind in there. People post their open houses. They post, issues they're having with Supras. It's a really good place for realtors to connect and get to know each other on a different level. So that's another group that I have. I had Brits who have moved to America. I don't know. I've had like random groups. If something comes into my mind, I'll just create a group and see how it goes. And if it falls flat, then I just ignore it. And if it becomes successful and I see people are interested, then I'll nurture it.
Well, Nikki, you and I need to talk about how to take that realtor group and build your profit share tree.
I was just thinking that.
We do.
Yeah, that made me real excited. Awesome. Because, a lot of times when you have a group and there's other people in it, you don't really want to invite realtors in it. But then I would be conflicted because I make so much more money from my profit share than anything else I've ever done. So that's perfect, though. You could just have a separate group for realtors, which I think is amazing and awesome.
Well, I kept having people complaining that they weren't allowed in my mom's group. So then I created a realtors group, and I'm like, here you go, realtors, we'll create our own group. And then, and then I had one woman who I didn't let her into my mom's group because I don't even look who it is. If I see it's a realtor, I just say no, I just deny it. And then she came into my realtors group to complain that there's this woman who's a realtor who has a Facebook group and she's not letting people in. So I had to explain to her that was also my group.
Yeah.
So it was really funny. It's like, I want to encourage people to create their own groups, to create their own tribes, and just really become leaders in their communities, because it's really needed. It's really hard to find leaders. And so if you are a leader, step up and start a group and, encourage your community to get together and come together. And also, people really want to give back and they don't know how to do that. So you can be the vessel to help people giving back. We have drives, we have community drives where people can come into our area and drop off supplies every month for different organizations. So not only do we get to meet them as a real estate team, but they also get to purge their closets and give back to the community. So it's like a win-win-win.
Yeah, awesome. I love it. That's fantastic. Nikki, this is fantastic. Dana, we're about out of time. Is there any final question that you just have burning desire you want to ask? Or is there, Nikki, something you wished you'd told the group or we wished we'd ask you that we didn't?
Yeah, actually that was going to be my question, Linda, because just like what I call rough hillbilly math, if your best year you did 39 million and 35% of that came from Facebook, that's roughly 13,650,000. And I don't know any realtor that's listening to this podcast that wouldn't love to sell an extra 13 million. So
by the way, 100% ROI.
Right. Yeah. Because it doesn't cost you anything.
Free. Facebook is free. It's time, but you guys are all on Facebook anyway. So you might as well use it to build your business.
Yeah. Anything we didn't ask you that we should have or that you want to share about the group?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything.
This is awesome.
Yeah, this is really good. I think it's fantastic. So I just want to thank everyone today and say, if you have a question or a challenge or anything that you'd like for Dana and I to help you with, be sure and reach out to us at info@everything life and real estate. And if you'd like to be a guest on our podcast, be sure and reach out to us at info@everything life and real estate and give us as much detail as you possibly can about where your business is and what it is that we might be able to help you with. So I just want to say, Nikki, thank you so much. This was very valuable. And Dana, I guess I won't see you next week, but I'll definitely be talking to you.
Yes. Thank you, Nikki. See you later.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.